everyone. We are on Digital Week Online now. We are back. And on this session, we're going to talk about institutional vs decentralized investments, examining the growing value of decentralized market and digital assets as well. Now the moderator of this event is going to be Julia. Nice to meet you, Julia, and distinguished people around. Richard Wang, Chasse, Calvin Poon, Deng. Guys, the stage is yours. The best way to do it by Juliet. Juliet, the word is on your side. You're going ahead.
Thank you, Sergey. First of all, I'm really happy to run this event, and I'm happy to see you guys. And it's good that at least we can see each other online during this pandemic. And so please, could you please introduce yourself? How have you been recently? Who you are? What are you doing in the space?
Hello, everyone.
Okay, wait, let's take us. Yeah, Danny, let's start from you.
Okay, from me? Right.
Yep.
Okay. I'm Deng, and I'm from Thai group, and I myself am the earliest guy in China, or the earliest blockchainer in China. So we have do many things, and except mining, I think I have no all the aspect, including the exchange and the regulated and unregulated, including the investment, and including the technology provider. And we have many cooperation with China government, and we also have many cooperation with other countries. And now we are, like we have in China, we cooperate with police administration for the self-identity chain. So each people, they can have identification on blockchain. And also we have many other like food chain and all other chains. And out of China, we have invested many blockchain projects. Like in UK, we have got the EMI and the EMD license, so we can legally do the currency exchange between the fiat money and the Bitcoin. And we are also in Hong Kong. Hong Kong has announced that they will give the block exchange license, STO license, to some exchanges, and we are also in the list. And we sometimes we invest as an institutional investor, and sometimes we get investment from other institutions. So I think we can talk about the ecosystem and the difference between China and the market out of China. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard?
Oh, yes, everybody, good evening, maybe. My name is Richard from the DraperDragon. I'm in Shanghai right now, China. So my institution actually is a very regular and typical traditional venture capital. We do the equity investment in the AI, in semiconductor, also in blockchain since 2000. But our fund actually built since 2005. And we started to invest the blockchain sector since 2015. So from 2015, we have about 40 blockchain portfolios worldwide. And we invest both the equity and also token deals. And because we are early stage technology-based investment institution investors, so when we look at all the blockchain companies, we would be more focused on their technology. With that say, we invest a lot in public chain company already. So, but we continue to looking for other application based on the DLT, especially the financial sector, especially the insurance sector, or some kind of infrastructure as well.
Okay, thank you. Kyle, your turn.
Yep. My name is Kyle Chasse. I have been in Bitcoin and the crypto industry since 2012. Ever since then, 2013, I started building different projects. I started the world's first Bitcoin-based lottery called World Super Lotto. In 2015, I was part of a COO of a project called Credits. It was a blockchain as a service. And then 2000, and also from 2014 all up until today, I've been investing a lot of different projects. I've invested in things like Kraken and Coinbase and Bitstamp and Bitso and Circle and Abra and quite a bit more, like 50 plus projects, maybe probably quite a bit more than that by now. And in 2018, I did a lot of advised projects like Elrond and Ultra, and now I'm advising Hathor and a bunch of other projects as well. And then in 2019, we shifted from a venture capital and advisory model to venture studio. So right now we're focused on building our own products in-house because I've been in the space for, getting close to a decade, and I really understand it very well and understand the infrastructure needs that I believe are needed for adoption and things like that. So, I've been in the space for a long time. This is my first token project called Paid Network that we're launching. We just kind of took it out of stealth mode like last week. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm really excited about this as well.
Oh, great. Thank you. Kevin?
Oh, hey, everyone. So yeah, my name is Calvin, and I'm an associate at Sora Ventures. Prior joining Sora, I worked at OKX, one of the leading crypto exchanges in the world, as well as CoinSuper. Afterwards, in 2019, I've decided to take my research experience and join Sora. Since I've always been intrigued by the buy side and the Chinese market. So Sora Ventures is founded in 2018. We are a early stage blockchain focused fund, and we invest in projects mainly in the US and in China, depending on different strategies, of course. We also do advising to different projects as well. We're pretty big on crypto infrastructures, especially like big protocols, gaming, as well as media. So yeah, essentially that's what we're working on right now.
Okay, thank you. So, my first question is why crypto is back on stage in a big way, and why traditional investors and stock exchanges are taking it seriously right now. What do you think about that, Danny?
So from my point of view, I think now the more and more countries and the governments, they are thinking about blockchain more seriously. So it has an internal reason, because the blockchain, of course, it's a very good technology and it can save the cost and it can increase the efficiency. So this is internally. But I think it happens because the world is changing a lot. So we know there is a very big the US and Sino-US relationship is getting worse and worse. So people need to find a new way to reorganize everything. So blockchain can be a very good tools to make all the people's thinking ideas to come to real. So if you want to change the bank industry, then you can use blockchain. And if you want to change the political system, you can also think about blockchain. So I think the cryptocurrency is playing a more and more important role in the whole picture. And also because of the many countries, they have issued legal license to the market. So the institutional investors and all the financial institutions and even the central banks, they have to think about if they do not attend the game, they may lose something. So this is because of the competition between different countries and different regions, different groups. They are increasingly high. So the whole world is getting more and more in a chaos situation. So people hope that to use blockchain to rebuild everything. So this is what I'm thinking about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Richard, what's your opinion?
Right. I'm in China, right? So we deal with a lot of deals in China, but also US. But China is a very special case because everybody know China actually is don't like the crypto. So I like to separate into three things. One is called crypto. The other one we call digital assets, actually, which is quite promoted by China as well, because China, for example, China government want to digitize the IP stuff, and maybe they want to digitize the real estate in Hainan province later on. So digital assets itself it could be encouraged in China. For example, DCEP as well is one thing, right? So crypto is not something acceptable right now by China government, but the digital assets is, and the government is still trying to figure out what kind of regulation, what kind of the framework to support that the digitized assets. And the third one is the central government always to promote is the blockchain protocol, or we say blockchain technology, right? Because not just the central government, but also a lot of local government, but also a lot of state-owned enterprise. They're trying to use that DLT stuff and to try to make some application, make some work more efficiently. So I think with that say, the regulation-wise is going to support blockchain technology for sure, trying to support the digitized assets as well. But for crypto, the things in China are still a long way to go.
Okay, thank you. Kevin, your opinion?
Oh, so in regards to regulations, scalability, and why crypto is back in the scene, I think mainly there are three reasons. The first reason is the recent news of big investors such as Paul Tudor Jones, expressing support to BTC, public companies like MicroStrategy and Square adding BTC into their balance sheet, as well as the rise of potential CBDCs around the globe. I expect to see a lot more, publicly listed companies adding BTCs into their balance sheets moving on. The second reason is that I would like to attribute the recent surge of crypto to DeFi. Although a lot of people are saying, DeFi is mostly, for people who are already within the industry. However, I think, we were exposed to, a potential of, the potential of scaling. We could see BTC be able to scale in a way of wrap BTC or REN BTC. This allows BTC liquidities to scale, right, onto the ETH chain, and it in turn plays a bigger part in DeFi. And the third reason is more of a macro reason would be Kraken getting a bank license, as well as US charter banks being allowed to custodize crypto. Certain projects such as Aave getting UK Electronic Money Institute licenses. It's also a big step for our industry. As to why stock market are taking crypto a lot more seriously, I think it's because crypto has been performing relatively well in 2020 after halving in May. It's been outperforming equities and gold YTD. So I believe it's fair to say for the past 11 years, Bitcoin has its fair share of battles and it's shown its resilience. So, an example would be Trump getting COVID, potential discontinuation of stimulus checks, BitMEX getting charged. If these news actually happened 3 to 4 years ago, I highly doubt BTC would be able to hold its price, but it has. So I think moving on, Bitcoin has consolidated. This actually consolidates the narrative that Bitcoin is a good store value, and it will be a good hedge, against economic downturn.
Okay, thank you. Kyle, your opinion?
it was just the whole thing has been about when institutions and infrastructure was going to be built and set up for Bitcoin and subsequently other cryptocurrencies as well. You know, I mean, it was obvious to me in 2012 that Bitcoin would be something that was adopted by the world one day. I mean, it's impossible to shut down, and all it has to do is survive, and it'll thrive. And as more and more countries and people lose trust in their government and their currencies are inflated, blah, blah, blah. If you read the white paper, Satoshi's white paper, you would understand this, you know, back in when you did. But we're starting to find out that a lot of institutions, you know, started setting up their infrastructure to be able to support Bitcoin back in as early as like 2015. But we really had to wait for regulators and the institutions' technology and their infrastructure to set up to be able to support adoption. So, you know, now it's really just been a matter of timing, waiting for this to happen. We've known about this for quite some time, that, you know, that one of the most obvious cases, something like JP Morgan, where he's out, you know, saying don't buy Bitcoin. Anyone who does is going to be fired, blah, blah, blah. And then we find out that he's buying it in the background. So it's always been here. It's just when the institutions and things like that start to talk about it that we hear it again, and that's when they're ready to do it. And we've seen a lot of public news about Bitcoin and crypto infrastructure being built over the last year, but they had started it years before. So in my opinion, it's really just it was waiting for the ecosystem to be built up so that it didn't get out of hand before the big players can get involved. And so I think there's been a lot of price suppression and things like that, which have held it back from, you know, having even more adoption, because, you know, it's been pretty sideways for quite some time. But I do think that right now with the money printing, it's giving people time to look at the currencies being debased and turning into, you know, the spending power going down. And since we didn't have a crazy crash all at once, and we're getting this Fed stimulus, it's a really good thing for Bitcoin, in the way that people have time to prepare for their values being, or their fiat being devalued. And so they're looking for alternatives, and people are out there researching. And then you have people like Jack Dorsey and MicroStrategies and so blah, 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 who are buying it and making it public. And people are looking at this, and this is going to be a trend that continues. So I think that we're in a really good position right now for things to take off. But we are crazy correlated to the stock market. It's absolutely insane. So we do need Fed stimulus and things like that to support our market right now.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for sharing. So Danny, as you mentioned before, it's very important to talk about the regulations and scalability. So what do you think, how regulation will affect the growth of the new financial marketplace?
Yeah, I think it's the regulation plays a very important role in creating asset and how we trade them, how we evaluate them, and what kind of asset is a good asset on the market. So actually, there is no standard for that until now, because everyone, they say stories, they're doing ICO, and they say I'm the best coin and I'm the best asset. So you cannot judge. So we all know that in the business view, the good project that it should have profit, or in the future it will have a very large profit. But where the profit should come. So I think China is different from the other countries because we have very strict financial restriction. You know, it include not only cryptocurrency, all kinds of financial trading is very strictly prohibited in China. Only some major market they can trade the shares and trade some commodities. So if you want to open an exchange in China, it must be illegal. But in China, I think it is possible to make some kind of assets to be digitalized. and tokenized and can be traded. But for the chain itself, it will still has a long way to go. So in other countries, you can just build a public chain, and then you can get revenue from the market. But in China, it's a better way is that you find some asset and you tell the government that it can be tokenized, and we can trade the real assets using blockchain. Then China government must be more acceptable than you say that I have a project, I have an idea, and I want to trade it for money. So it's in China, it's maybe different from other countries. Yeah. So I think it's and I think in the future, the China and the whole world, they will come to one point. So this is the ultimate point that all the assets, and no matter it's real or unreal, it's a virtual or realistic, it can be traded and to all the investor and in the global market. And I think this is global blockchain system. I think this is the final goal, and it will create very, very big liquidity. So this is what I can force. It's for sure will be happen.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Could you share more insight about the regulations in China and how does it affect the crypto market?
Right. We talk about the market status in China. As we all know, I also mentioned that earlier, right? The crypto things is still banned, right? Even people want to switch their fiats to the crypto by any C2C or any OTC exchange. That's still very risky in China. Maybe people heard about, China just, get some people into jail because of this. So if we talk about the new market, especially for crypto, is still very tough. But again, as I mentioned earlier too, the asset digitization is supported by China government, right? So for example, in Hainan province, China now want to support to have some local regulation to allow the real estate, to allow the patents or some other technology IP to be exchanged, to be liquidated based on the digitization. So this kind of regulation is going to support the new market based on that sector. But if we talk about something like a blockchain infrastructure, for example, some state-owned company, state-owned enterprise, they also try to build up another blockchain protocol and try to create a more friendly environment for those application development, and that would be very greatly helpful those blockchain company, but that won't be able to be cryptalized later. So I think the regulation in China is going to support some dedicated market, but again, not the crypto side.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. Kevin, what do you think?
Okay, so in terms of regulations and the future of digital assets, in short, I do see a bright future for digital assets. Regulations have been ramping up globally, as we can see in the news. What happened to BitMEX, UK banning derivative trading, SEC going after some ICO projects back in, the ICO boom in 2017. In general, I feel like moving forward, we're going to see a lot more regulatory actions towards crypto projects. While it might seem slow, I think regulators will be, more open to changes. I don't think a hard no from regulators will be the way to go, but I do see like a middle ground for all, for digital assets and the government to work together, and it'll just lead to a better regulation within our industry, and that'll be a good thing because I believe compliance will lead to wider adoption. Also, I think DeFi moving forward will play a huge part. We can see recently in the recent small boom that it's a transition of people moving traditional financial instruments onto the blockchain. But on the downside, since so young, a lot of rug pulls have happened. So regulations are coming, and more auditing will be, required to protect users moving on. Yeah, and I feel like the narrative of CBDC coming in, different countries publishing a CBDC, digital assets will be here to stay. Yeah, but CBDC is going to be published by central banks, so regulations goes without saying.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. So what do you think, how will regulations affect the scalability of crypto market?
Well, I'm personally not a fan of regulations. I mean, I left America because I was in blockchain, and it doesn't seem like a very good place to be when you're trying to disrupt systems. And like we saw this in 2018, right? There was a massive, like, governments and central banks got scared because they saw Bitcoin was basically unstoppable at that point and nothing was going to stop it. They also saw that there was a lot of innovation happening with ICOs. And so this was in 2017. And then in 2018, you hear in our whole space, everyone was going around saying, you know what, ICOs are dead, STOs are the new thing. And, from a token perspective or a project perspective, the only difference between a token in an ICO and a token in an STO is that in an STO, you have to ask for permission before you build this project, and you have to pay taxes. So remember, like, you could create a decentralized investment fund that has a utility token that pays out dividends, right? It's just, it would be considered a security if you're talking about securities regulation. But the whole ethos of Bitcoin and Ethereum and things like that were really to be able to build innovative products for the people that brings freedom back to them and empowers them, to not ask for permission, to not have to go and pay taxes on everything you do. It's borderless, and so I am not a fan at all of regulation. And I think that people, if you're going to build something disruptive, you should domicile somewhere that is very relaxed. And I mean, on the other side, like, yeah, of course there's regulation for security tokens, or digitized asset, additional financial models of equity, basically, or fractionalizing ownership of an asset, which is cool, but it's not really what blockchain was made for. So I don't know. I mean, I think that in a way, to answer the question, regulation helps when you talk about somewhere like America or something, or or any country really, where it then allows these big funds to start participating, and that helps the price, I guess. But at the end of the day, we would get to where we're going anyway without funds and things like that, so I think that regulation pretty much stifles innovation. And I mean, it's going to do what it's going to do, but I prefer to try to be as little regulated as possible.
Okay, great. So thank you, guys. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, but thank you for your great insights and for such a wonderful panel. Hopefully we will see each other soon in the real life.
Yes.
Thanks, Juliet.
Thank you.
Okay,
thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Juliet.
Thanks for having us,
Bye.
Juliet.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.